What's up everyone, thanks for tuning in. So I finally got everything I needed to be able to tune my Accord, and in this video I'm going to show you what I got, how I installed it, and the things that you guys need to know to be able to hook this thing up to your laptop. So this video is not going to be a how-to on tuning. I might do a video of that later. This is like literally the first car and first time I ever tuned anything, and everything that I learned from reading stuff and just watching on tons of videos on YouTube, I figured it out. I tuned this car last night as I'm making this video. It's not fully tuned yet. I'll explain that later on, but it's drivable and it's a lot better than what it was on the B18B base map. And to be honest, I don't even know if it really was on a B18B base map, just because when I uploaded the base map of that, it did not run like it used to. But anyway, regardless, let's get this video started. All right, so before I show you guys the parts needed to be able to start tuning and stuff, you have to be at least OBD1 converted. You have to convert your fuel injected Accord to OBD1. I have a video explaining the parts that you need and how to, at least all that. So and have a OBD1, obviously an OBD1 ECU, VTEC or non-VTEC. Obviously A20s aren't VTEC, but either way, I'll discuss it later on, but either of those ECUs will work, P75s, P28s, P06s, and stuff like that. You can technically tune OBD0 ECUs, but I mean, you're kind of limited on what you can do, and it's such an old, it's like ancient way of doing things. You can do it, but I highly recommend not doing it. Trust me, like what you would do to make that work and just going OBD1 and going the route that I took and most people take, it'll save you guys a lot of headaches. So, all right, here we go. Okay, so I got the Moats complete tuning tool set, and it comes with the Ostrich 2.0 ECU real-time emulator, the Extreme Q-Log data logger, along with all necessary cords and whatnot to make it work. Some swag, which is pretty awesome because they give you an option once you spend a certain amount. They ask you if you want a Moats tire pressure or a sticker. Well, they sent me a lot more, which is awesome. Keychain light and bottle opener, pretty neat. And they even sent it on a Monday, and if you read their websites, they say they usually ship Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So as soon as I order this thing, they pretty much already shipped it out. This is the chip kit. This is the part that you are going to need to solder into your circuit board if your ECU is not yet ready yet. Capacitors and whatnot. CN2 port right there on top. So yeah, I did not use this. I'm planning on using this in the later future if I acquire a Virgin ECU. Let's see, what's this? Oh no, sorry. This is the CN2 port, and I'll explain that to you, and I'll tell you why I'm not using this yet, if ever. So, also, you're going to need a wideband. I have the AEM, the not X something, not X series. It's just the basic, I can't think of the name of it. Anyway, so quick review on that Afr Gauge. The whole kit, it came with two harnesses. The harness that goes to the O2, the wideband O2 sensor itself, and then a power ground wire and all that stuff. Super simple, you know, electric and electronic stuff to get it running. Wired the power to a key switched 12 volt source, and then grounded it to metal body down there near the fuse panel. And there's a white wire right here. This is going to D12 on your OBD1 ECU. I connect that so the ECU can read off the signal off the wideband, and then at that point, AEM actually provides you in the user manual. It'll tell you all like the voltage for. So if the AFR times are off from when you're data logging on whatever software you're using to what the Afr Gauge is telling you, then you can either manually correct it in the software or put down the chart that AEM gives you for like voltage per, like, you know, AFR reading, and it'll match up, sync up, and everything should be fine. There is a little latency in it, but you won't be like completely far off. So if you have a good idle, like around 14.7, but the data logger says 14.7, for example, and the wideband, or anyway, If one of them gives off a different reading than each other at a very steady air fuel ratio, then you're gonna have to adjust for that. All right, hopefully that makes sense. Okay, black wire to CN2 port. Now you can see I just have it plugged into there. Now there's some ECUs you get, some chip guys I've seen they don't actually solder those in, so that's why you have to solder in this CN2 port. Where is it at? Yeah, and then it just clips into there. It's not clipped into there, but when I was tuning it last night driving, I didn't have any problems with this stuff flying around or nothing, or things disconnecting. So that worked. However, if you're going to data log using the hue log, so you see it right there, orange goes closer to that center beam, center bracket or whatever, and there's actually 5 solder points on the circuit board. There only needs to be 4, as you can see, and then that's how it's plugged in. And to be able to data log, if you guys can see this, I don't know how I'm going to show you guys because it's very difficult. J12. Okay, this one right here, you need to wait a minute, sorry, J12, that one right there. So you have this arrow and then that J12, you need to cut it. If you don't have that thing cut, then you will not be able to data log. Okay, here is this. So this is where your chip usually goes. This is the emulator with the ribbon cord going into that. Printer style cable goes in the laptop. And this pretty much acts like a chip, if that makes any sense, but a chip that you can be able to adjust in real time. And I don't have the chip burner to show you, but I'll just show you guys that later. So, go in here. All right, so I'll talk about this later. I am tuning on Honda Tuning Suite, version 2.15. Okay, and it's pretty cool. It actually loads in whatever map or whatever you were messing with previous. But just for peace of mind, I usually like to open the file anyway, just to make sure. Okay, so if you guys are watching right now, don't take this the wrong way. Do not copy my numbers or anything like that. I mean, you may be somewhere in the ballpark, but like as I said, this isn't a perfect tune yet. It is drivable, a lot drivable than it used to be. So yeah, I'm not going to show you guys really too much right now, just because that can be a whole video in itself. Okay, so I just connected the ostrich emulator. Now when you hook that up, you can either click this, disconnect emulator, that, connect. Emulation or real-time emulation is on. Any changes will be instantly uploaded. This includes opening a new map. Do you want to leave it enabled? Yes. Here's the thing. Sometimes it works. It's usually like a delay into that, just like even what happens in Chrome. So what I do, if you've worked with Chrome before, it's kind of the same thing like writing it. Like once you do your changes and stuff like that, you just go up to this up arrow right here, upload base ROM calibration to the emulator, and then vice versa. You can download whatever's already currently on the emulator last to HTS. Quick thing that I do when I start this stuff, oh, I just disconnected it. So once you're connected to the emulator, I have to verify ROM. You can see it loading right down here. Okay, ROM verified. That means it's good. If it says I forgot what it says, but usually it will say something else. Usually just start the car and it'll work. It'll do fine. Once the car's on the emulator and the emulator's hooked up, just hit that again and it'll fix it. One key note here that I actually had problems with. So I did have a problem with the ostrich being able to do real-time updates in real time while the car was on. And I thought it was a hardware issue, but it became a long realization that it was a operator error. It was an operator issue. It was me. I did not push the ribbon mic in thing to thing all the way in. So once I did that, it fixed it all. Okay. And yeah, and that's pretty much it to be able to do the emulator. So if I had to do changes, like if I had to like pull fuel out from here or whatever, just hypothetically speaking, you would do it. And then once you do it, I do upload to emulator. Like it should technically do it in real time, but as I said, I hate waiting. And it just kind of ensures me that it is making the changes in it. And yeah, it's just similar. It's similar to write on Chrome. So that's as far as I'm going to go with that. Now the hue log, I'll show you guys how to do that. So where's that cord at? There it is. So I'll plug it in. If I can. Or apparently I'm stupid. There we go. Cool. So you heard that the connection happened. If I go to datalog, however, start. Cannot connect with ECU. See debug logs for the issue. So this is what you got to do. Turn the key right before you start it. Got the wideband going and radio. Okay, so let's see, wideband's read and lean. It should read lean because the car is not on. Good. Okay. I'll get back onto that though too. That's a problem. Not right now, but it was. Anyway, I digress. Back to data logging. So now that the key is on the right before, I think it's ACC, right before you start it. Come on, where'd it go? It's hard to. All right, there it is. Go to data log, start. Bam. Now if I start the car, which I'll just do real quick. My garage door is closed. I don't want to end up dying in here. Got all this stuff. Okay. Just so you guys, it does work. So, yeah, and then once you have data log on, let's see. So this just logged all that. All your target AFRs for vacuum and RPM. So yeah, you can like nitpick at this, but I'll make a whole video on that later on. So yeah, that's how data logging works. And yeah, if you have it on that position, it will no longer data log. So, okay. Now, let's see here. All right, let's talk about the O2 sensor real quick. Okay, so this is just like the basic AEM Wideband, I believe. It's not the X series or whatever that is. Anyway, so as I said before, hooking it up is pretty self-explanatory. If you guys ever hooked up gauges before, negative 12 volt switch, red power, black negative. You're gonna have a blue wire here, which goes to nothing usually, unless you're gonna be doing it into another AEM product, I believe. The white wire I discussed to you earlier, that goes to J12, or sorry, D14. Goes to D14 on the ECU, which is O2 sensor usually, but since I don't have the O2s disabled, but it'll still pull signal off of that from the gauge itself. So there's a lot of, like, you can just Google how to wire in wideband ECU, OBD1 ECU for Hondas, and there's a lot of pictures and diagrams. It's super simple. And then, so the problem I had with this, so as I said earlier in the video, this comes with obviously the gauge, black. It comes with a black face on here. I changed it up to a white. It comes with an O2 sensor itself, Bosch style 4.9. Let's see here. Said power wire, all that stuff, and then to the thicker one goes to the sensor itself. So here's the crazy thing, that sensor didn't even last a minute before it died, and I did a test on it. To be able to test the gauge to see if the gauge malfunctioned, you can disconnect the O2 sensor and it should stay at 14.7 once it's done going through all of its stuff. If it just holds there, gauge is fine. If the gauge starts moving, acting all weird with the O2 sensor disconnected, then there's a chance your gauge is faulty. Another way to do it is leave everything plugged in on the gauge unscrew the sensor out of the pipe or however you have it set up, and then drench a rag in brake cleaner and then wrap the sensor in it. You should see it go from full lean to somewhat of any sort of like richer reading. If not, if it just stays full lean, it's done for. I tested it on a new Bosch wideband sensor I got at my local AutoZone. The part number is, I think it's on here, should be on here. If not, I will list it in the description, but you can get these at like your local auto parts store, such as like an AutoZone. I believe Napa carries these as well, and Advanced Auto Parts. I don't have an Advanced Auto Parts near me, so AutoZone was the closest one, and this was the last one. So this worked, and from what I've read online, it's a very common issue that the sensors that AEM sends their gauges with usually always crap out. So for the whole kit that I got with the gauge, I spent about like 164 off, I believe 160 something dollars off Amazon, and then this thing cost me like $65. So be prepared to spend like $200. I've heard some people going with Innovative and never had, you know, or at least have had less problems than getting the AEM kits. But you know, if there's two widebands I would ever trust readings on, ever, or worth to spend money on, it would be AEM and Innovative. The only reason I didn't get Innovative was just I don't know, I found the AEM wants to be cheaper, I believe, at the time. Anyway, so that's that for the AFR. And now lastly, I'm going to talk about the chip burner. All right, the last piece of the kit that I have not shown yet, the burn to chip kit, or yeah, chip burner, sorry. So let's see, I think I believed it. Yep. So one thing about these chips, be very careful with these things not to bend them, like you can see right there. When you insert them into the socket right there, once your ECU is chipped, be very careful inserting them, and be very, very careful when you take them out too. Don't get in a rush to like take them out, like work one end at a time. And try not to like go too much on like one end. Try to like, as easy as you can, try to like lift them up at once like that. It's kind of impossible, but it's doable. Actually, so I noticed, now I'm thinking about it, I noticed that the actual, sorry, I can't think of the name of it right now, but the chip port that is soldered into the ECU, that where you connect your ostrich to and you put your chip in, like I'm talking about right now, it does not look like, I mean, well, it does look like this. If it focuses, come on camera. All right, there we go. So yeah, this is what it looks like, minus this metal latch right here that locks it in place. It does not have that. I wish it did. If it did, I probably wouldn't have destroyed the chip that I had in there already when I purchased that ECU, so that chip's done for. And another thing, if you guys do get these chips, I don't even know, purchase them from Moats. Whoop, I'm already breaking it. There's a thumb down on this video. All right, come on. Yeah, get these chips from Moats. I'm trying to get you guys the serial number. All right, I'll just read it to you. It is 27SF512. That's the serial for these chips. Get these from Moats, because there are a lot of fake ones out there and they probably will not work if you get them. So I highly recommend, if you purchase these, purchase them from Moats, because they have a really good reputation of authenticating these chips to make sure that they will work for you. And obviously, from what I've heard too, they have a really good customer support, so something weird happens, they'll take care of you. So here's the chip burner. Okay, here's this. So you see that little half moon right there? So notch towards handle. So that's where you're gonna face this thing at. And you're gonna put this at the very bottom. Now you're gonna see that extra 2. That's because that's for chips for GM, I believe. They take, I believe this is a 28, so yeah, a 30 pin, I believe. Don't quote me on that. So once that's in there, put that down and it's locked in place. Okay, just down longer. Connect. this bad boy in. Now, I have seen people use, I'm not going to use HTS to do this. Exit out of here. So you can burn chips from HTS and Chrome onto your chip burns. I've seen people do it, but I'm going to do what Moats tells me to do. If you go on their website, there's a download for Flash and Burn. It is free. So once you go here, you choose that chip right there, what I told you, the 27SF512, and then you can verify chip. You can blank check, erase it. So pretty much, if you bought a brand new chip and to your knowledge it's never had a map loaded onto it ever before, you can blank check it. When you click that, it reads it and it says confirms that it is a blank chip. You can erase it from here and it'll tell you it's erased, blank check it, and then it'll tell you, yep, it's good to go. You can read chip. Okay, IO succeeded, so there is something on there and it read it successfully. So let's say I got the tune that I want on HTS, on Chrome, or whatever. So I have known people to have leave the emulators, the Ostrich 2, connected to the ECU like forever, like for years, and have had zero problems. From Moats themselves, they say that they did not build this emulator to be able to basically be connected to this all the time. It's simply just a tuning tool. It was never intended to be a long time use. There is a battery in here too, and it's supposed to last a very long time because from what I've heard too, these batteries don't really suck up a lot of stuff. You can get replacement batteries for these things, but I'm not even going to try to worry about it. So pretty much once I have the tune that I want, I'm just going to get that map, burn it onto here, install it on the ECU. That's what I suggest. I know people don't do that. They just get these and call it good. That's fine. You can do whatever you want. Just saying, if you come into problems with these, then yeah, there's that. Let's see here. So let's say I got my map that I've already had tuned. Load file to buffer. No, I know what it's looking for. It's looking for another one. So this is probably gonna be blank at first. You actually got to go into your different drives and stuff like that to find where you save your files from HTS. Find those, bring it up. Here are your bin files from HTS, so you can open them. I'm not gonna do it right now, but open them. It'll say the program has been opened under here. Program chip. It's gonna program whatever file you just loaded, and then it'll say complete, and then you can verify chip with buffer, and it's good. I will do a more in-depth video on all this stuff right now. I can literally, this is a whole other video. This video is already like a little bit longer than I wanted to, but hopefully this gives you guys an idea of what you'll be working with and how everything works. All right, guys, that's pretty much it. So before I end this video, I'm going to show you this quick mod that is only kind of known to a very few car enthusiasts out there. Once you install the AEM Wideband, if you do this mod, you may see at least up to 10 to 15 horsepower gains, and it's super easy. Check this out. And there you go. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you in the next one.